Is it coming home? Well, it's still not coming home, and ever since that rather famous song from 1966 has become a part of the public conscious of the English football fans and in fact of fans around the world, it seems it has further jinxed England's World Cup hopes even further because, breaking news in case you're just joining us, the final, the Women's World Cup final, the FIFA Women's World Cup final between Spain and England has ended 1-0 in favor of the Spanish team. Now, before we go into why this is such a big thing for the Spanish side, because believe you me when I say they have in fact come very far despite actually facing a lot of adversity. Spare one thought for this English team who came into this particular final definitely being the favourites. Remember, they had in fact won the Euros under the guidance of Serena Wiegman, who in fact has made such an impact during her time as the women's national team head coach that she is now being considered as one of the favourites to take over the men's national team role should Gareth Southgate ever decide or should he decide to either move on or be let go by the FA. So it's safe to say that the England women's team have done a fairly good job under Wiegman, but that wait, that agonizingly long wait to finally be crowned champions of the world continues once more for the Three Lionesses. Again, this was a side who were chock-a-block full of talent, a lot of players who were playing not only in the Women's Super League in England, but some playing abroad in teams like Barcelona and Lyon, top sides in women's football. Unfortunately, when push came to shove, they were just unable to get it done. But this should take nothing away from the Spanish side because, as I said, this is a team that, truth be told, have been undergoing a lot of turmoil of their own. And the fact that they've managed to come together despite that and actually go on to win the World Cup, it's nothing short of impressive. So, in case you're wondering what this conflict was, there was a major conflict that took place between the players as well as not just the coaching staff and the head coach, but also this reached the point where it was basically the players against the Spanish Football Federation, and it reached that point that 15 players actually ended up sending a letter to the Spanish Football Federation saying that we will not make ourselves available for selection for the Spanish national team because we are not happy with how things are being run right now. Now, obviously, a lot of people have speculated as to what the reasons were, and it was apparently a problem that their head coach, who's been in charge since 2015, I may add, he was seen as a bit of an overbearing figure at times, someone who looked to exert too much control and was too strict, too disciplinarian with his methods, at times very overbearing, and even at times there were media reports that questioned that there were many members of the squad who weren't necessarily convinced with his tactical skills as well, or that his training sessions lacked intensity or didn't teach them anything new. Well, it's definitely a vindication for the head coach as well as the Spanish Football Federation, by the way, who stood by and allowed him to actually take control of the team, despite the fact that there was a number of players who, well, they weren't really big fans of having him around in the first place. In fact, this conflict of sorts has been playing out even publicly at times. So, Alexia Putellas, who's probably one of the best women's footballers in the world, turning out for Spain, there was a point in the semi-final where, she ended up walking past the bench, and despite the fact that there were a few members of the coaching staff looking to give her a high five or a low five, she just did not acknowledge it whatsoever. And Putellas, by the way, was one of those players who, whilst not directly sending a letter, she did offer out support. And in fact, it's worth noting that of those 15 people who sent that letter to the Spanish Federation, 12 were not considered for selection. So the head coach took a big risk because some of those were high profile players who had made themselves unavailable rather than look to bridge whatever issues were coming up. He said, no, I'm going to only stick with players who are 100% convinced in the project. And again, considering the result that Spain have got, first time ever being crowned champions of the world, this women's team. In fact, not only is this the first ever time they've made it to the final, it's the first time they've even been able to successfully win a knockout round game. This was how, up and down their form used to be when it comes to the women's side. Again, the men's side in recent times have had both highs and lows. Women's side, well, it was more lows than anything else. But now, at long last, they have made it to the top of the mountain. They are world champions. Take nothing away from the English side in terms of the kind of competition they provided throughout the tournament. In the final, though, they fell flat, and Spain, whilst not necessarily a very attacking, let's say, endeavouring side in the final, well, they got that one chance and then they were able to maintain their solidity. So they did very well to nullify what was a very good England side. And they've done that. Congratulations to the Spain team, who have at least now been crowned world champions for the first time. We're an England fan. That wait still continues on, but take nothing away from the Spanish side. Very much their moment, and with the backdrop of a lot of adversity which they all had to overcome together, and some divisions which still may very much remain within the squad, but they are at long last world champions. Thank you so much for joining us in this particular video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. But for now, from my side, it's goodbye.